Niaje watu, welcome or welcome back. In today's video, I am going to show you how to motivate your lighting setup. Motivated lighting is simply a technique that you can use to imitate existing light sources within a frame. This means that you can use lighting sources that can be seen within a frame or practicals to justify your lighting setup. To do this, I will show you how I build a shot from start to finish and the different lighting sources that I used just to achieve the kind of effect that I wanted. The key with motivating your lighting is to try and make the shot look as natural as possible with the practicals that are in frame. And as a special bonus, I will also add in a few different setups that I used at the end of the video. Yeah, so let's see what we did with this. So this is just a quick video to give you a rundown of the setup that I used for the day. I will use this window as our motivating light source or the practical in our shot, and I also used just one key light and two smaller tube lights with a layer of diffusion in front of them to act as the fill light. Yeah, so this is just a quick time lapse of me setting up the different lighting that I will use for the day. And then we turn off the house lights. So this is the base of my shot. You can see that me as the subject, I am quite underexposed, but the key now to using a window light as the key. The thing with using a window as your practical source is that you cannot expose for your subject or for your foreground. You have to expose for the elements in your window so that the window is not completely blown out. This means that now our subject is completely underexposed and looking kind of dark. Now, to build up on this shot, I will introduce the key light, which is the Amaran 100D, coming in from the camera right. I had a softbox and a grid over it just to ensure that the light does not spill all over the frame. You can see the effect that introducing this light has on our subject, because now my face and the rest of my body is starting to be a bit more exposed while leaving the window as is. And you can feel as though the light coming in from the window is what is exposing my face on the right side of the camera rather. However, my side of the face that is on the camera left looks and feels a bit too dark. So now to build on this shot, I introduced the small tube lights without a diffusion in front of it at 100%. You can see that the effect that introducing these tube lights has, but the problem is now that they do not have any sort of diffusion in front of them, the light has also spilled over to the background, and you can somehow now see my shadow on the bottom left corner of the frame. But the tube lights have started to bring the kind of effect that we want, because you can now see a bit more of my face on the camera left. The key is to make the light feel as though it is wrapping from the right side of the frame to the left side of the frame, and from the right side of my face to the left side of my face. Now this is just typically the same type of setup with the key light to the camera right of the frame and the small tube lights directly in front of my face. I reduced the power of the tube lights from 100% to 25%, and you can now see that it is looking a bit more natural. Now this is the kind of effect that I wanted to achieve with my lighting setup, with the side of my face that is nearer to the window a bit brighter than the side that is away from it. However, this is still not the kind of effect that I want, because you can still see a bit of my shadow on the bottom left of the frame. To mitigate this, I now added a piece of diffusion in front of the tube lights, still at 25%, and you can see now that the lighting that is falling on my face looks a bit softer, and it feels as though it is coming from the camera right, moving to darkness on the camera left as we move away from the window. So this is the final shot that I ended up with, and it feels as though the light is coming from the window, lighting my face on the camera right, moving into darkness on the camera left as we move away from the window even more. So now that I achieved the kind of look that I wanted with the lighting setup, I decided to experiment a bit and see how changing my lighting setup would make the shots look. Now, for this shot, I removed the small tube lights that were in front of my face and even changed the modifier on the key light. I removed the softbox and added in a reflector dish, and instead of shining it directly on my face, I turned it around and bounced it on the wall that was in front of me. It was directly in front of me, and you can see that it also just has a sort of different effect, making my face look a bit more softer and a bit more uniform, with also just now leaving the shadow side a bit underexposed. The difference with this shot from our previous shot is now you can see that the light has spilled over onto the wall as well, and you can see that also the shadow from the curtains is not there anymore. Yeah, I think that is the main difference with this shot. However, the lighting on the face looks a bit more pleasing, but it doesn't feel as though it is coming from our window. Now this is a totally different setup as well, with the key light still at 25% and the reflector dish on it. I bounced the light from the ceiling. You can see that this now feels a bit more saucy, with the hot spot on my forehead, not on the side of the window, but on the side, but coming from the top. This feels as though it is now the house lights that are in use, because there are very minimal shadows behind the curtain, and there is no, the shadows now are a bit more defined on the underside of my face instead of on the camera left side of my face. Now, just for fun, I bumped up the key light to 100%, still bouncing it from the ceiling. And now you can see that the light looks even a bit more saucy, feeling like we have the house lights on. The light is not on the window side, but it is coming from inside the house. This side of the camera left side of my body and my face also looks a bit brighter. Now the wall has completely lost the shadows that are on it, and you can see how bright the wall looks. You can see how bright the hotspot on my forehead is, and you can see how bright in general the levels of the room are. Yeah, so I hope that this kind of lighting breakdown gives you a better insight into how you can build your shots, how you can motivate your lighting setups, and even now how you can understand how light interacts in different spaces and in different setups. I believe that as a filmmaker, one of the most important things you can do for yourself is to learn how lighting works, is to understand how the light that you use interacts with your subject, interacts with the spaces that you're in, and also just how it contributes to the final look and feel of your shot. So this kind of video was helpful. Please consider liking, sharing, and subscribing to the channel. Yeah, so tune in the next one. Peace, love, and light.